in the costumes, hitting that big, strong Australian outback sunlight, danced off the walls of the tents, and it was absolutely amazing. And I know if I'd never left Corinabri, let's say, that would be the only way I'd have seen and touched, that outside world, that wonderful, fantastic, exotic world. I know a lot of people who don't like animal circuses sort of say, what the hell is a polar bear doing in the outback New South Wales? And I kind of agree with them. Yeah, don't want a polar bear in the outback New South Wales. But it was amazing to see, and there are people who've never moved from that and have never seen that. And that, for me, was basically the hook that said, this is where you want to go. You want to go and travel, not to see that mangy old bear there in Corinabri, but you want to go and see that where it lives, where it's proud to be where it lives. So that, I guess, gave me the wanderlust. And always being an avid reader, that added to it, the imagination, and the notion that the outside this world was something else was fine. Keep God in soap, that was fine. I had other places to go. As
you were growing up, the Vietnam War started and conscription was introduced into Australia. Did this have any influence on you?
Always coming up through schools, each new town, each new school, and the 9 different schools that I went to and 27 different neighbourhoods. So I was pretty used to joining things, being the first bloke in. But when it came to, I was in Newcastle, we'd moved down, and Newcastle is on the coast, and it was the first time we were there. And my father and mother always used to say, well, there's half a dozen different schools here, or there's only one school. Sorry, there's no choice. But if there were a couple of choices for schools, they would say, which one do you want to go to? And in this particular school in Newcastle, I opted for a school called St Pius X. And the reason why I did this was because it was close to where we lived, and it had a cadet group in it. And I'm coming on 16 and a half, nearly 17. I would have to register when I was 18 for the Vietnam War. Now, we were in around about 68 here, and the Tet Offensive had happened in Vietnam, and it was huge. The noise in our part of the world, probably a lot less over here, but the noise in our part of the world was quite incredible. And there was a lot of people like me worried about where they were going, and we had to register for conscription. So I went to this particular school and did, I guess, army training, pre-army training, because even though I'd been in the country and, people have a gun as a rite of passage in the country and know how to shoot, I had never done this. And so that was my first thought, was to, well, if I had to end up over there, I better know which end of the thing